I think Iran wants to get their situation straightened out. Now, is that based on fact or based on gut? That's based on gut. Their inflation is through the roof. Their economy is tanked entirely. The sanctions are absolutely hurting them horribly. I don't want to see that. We can't let them have a nuclear weapon. Can't let it happen. So I think that there's a really good chance that we would meet.
Iran's president is now backtracking on possible talks with President Trump, saying a meeting between the two simply would be a photo op unless the U.S. first lifts sanctions. Let's bring in John Hanna. He's former National Security Advisor to Vice President Dick Cheney and senior counselor at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. John, there was kind of a turnabout from Hassan Rouhani. He seemed to signal his willingness to negotiate with President Trump and with the United States early in the day, and then kind of changed his tune later on. Why?
Well, I mean, this is a very opaque system, John, in Iran. So, you know, determining definitively why they do anything is hard. I think what's happening here is that the bazaar is open. The Iranians know they probably need a negotiation with the United States. On the one hand, they want to signal we're prepared to talk. On the other hand, they have had a pretty consistent position that in order to talk to us, you've got to lift sanctions. The president yesterday took up Macron's idea a little bit of maybe there could be a line of credit to the Iranians. So I think the Iranians now want to push that envelope and see how badly does the United States want these talks. I hope the president says we're not going to pay a single dime for the privilege of having the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism come to the table.
Because you place sanctions on a country like Iran to get them to modify their behavior, and they're saying, you lift the sanctions and then we'll start talking about modifying our behavior. It's a you know, the dog is chasing its tail on this one.
Yeah, that's what President Obama did, and he paid a heavy price for it. He made concessions up front to get the Iranians to the table, to get them to make minor, very reversible concessions on their nuclear program, and that's why we're in the fix we are now. So I hope President Trump is a better negotiator and doesn't fall for that Iranian trick.
I want to play some remarks from Iranian President Rouhani. Okay, this is a full screen. I'm sorry. He said, without the U.S.'s withdrawal from sanctions, we will not witness any positive development. If someone intends to make it as just a photo op with Rouhani, that is not possible. A photo op with Rouhani, I don't think that's what President Trump is looking for here.
Yeah, no, listen, the one thing people have to remember is that Rouhani may be the president of Iran, but he's very much just a pure functionary in that system, like their foreign minister is. The real counterpart for President Trump, the person who can make life or death decisions about Iranian national security policy, is Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran. That's President Trump's real counterpart here, not President Rouhani.
There is a headline in Axios that Israeli officials are worried about possible U.S.-Iran talks. Does Israel have anything to worry about here?
Well, we'll see. I mean, I was taken a little bit aback yesterday by this idea of President Macron to perhaps preemptively grant the Iranians some kind of lifeline through this line of credit that would be backed up by their oil sales. I think that would be a terrible mistake if we do it only to get the Iranians to the table. I imagine that's what the Israelis are worried about, that if you get into a negotiation too early with the Iranians and you're too eager and make too many concessions, the Iranians have shown time and time again that they will take you to the cleaners. I don't think President Trump is going to make that mistake. He is too good a negotiator, and he knows it is this crippling economic pressure that is forcing the Iranians to really think about having to make a deal with Trump.
John Hanna from the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. John, thank you.